competition again. Towards the second half of practice, you'll see a drill we'll call red zone lockout. It's a scoring system, offense against defense. It's a good, fun competition to do. Third day of some more installs, and then we'll finish with some game and clock management situations. So be a fun day to get rolling again with the guys, and this will be our third day in this block. Take a break tomorrow with them, and then we'll come back and do another 3-day block with them. So doing these small segments, a lot of time, a lot of intensity together, and then we'll reset and do it again. So with all that said, we can get it rocking with you guys.
Hey, Dan, with Jayden, who's been here when the rookies got here, and now this 3-day session, these practices are kind of starting to add up. Are there any benchmarks or kind of signals you look for that he's showing you guys signs of real progress, both offensively and kind of locker room-wise?
Well, I think, one, we have an effective plan for him, and Jayden's the type of guy that wants to go nail it in terms of each day, each marker to go, but we're really going to stay true to this. You know, we have a really good plan, and, like, what's fun about it is, like, he's the type of person that wants to nail this part, so we're just not too far down the line of where we're headed, and staying right in the moment with him, that helps, and he's really doing a good job. But with the team, we're going into our third day. And so I think we all remember that because you want to look down the line so much, but he's doing outstanding. And we're really pleased where we're at, but we're not changing the timelines or the guidelines of how we're going to approach things.
What did you make of his performance in the 2-minute drill yesterday?
I thought over the last 2 days, both sessions, there's been some really good things. And so it's been nice to have 2-minute and red zone because those get highlighted and emphasized so quickly. So we'll have a little bit more play pass in some early part of practice today. But like I said, he's off to a really good start.
And it seems like, at least early on, he's not scrambling. Is that intentional or?
Nope. No? Yeah, just early on, I told you way back, the OTAs are more passing, and we're not even in pads yet. The defense and offense only had 2 days of installs, so like there's not a lot of different coverages, there's not a lot of different blitzes, and then today a little bit more, and then a little bit more. So like there's a process to how we do things, and so we haven't even put in our quarterback movement plays yet. You know, so like I'd caution you to look ahead too much at practice on one part because it's a small segment of what we're doing. I don't want to minimize how pleased we are with him, but I also don't want you to look so far down the line saying that's one part of things.
You mentioned yesterday trying to find some of the separators among players as they're competing. With the cornerbacks in particular, what are some of the things that you're really looking for to see those edges?
Yeah, I think one, like vertical control, you know, when there's shots down the field, what takes place on those. We haven't had a lot of those because of our intentional work down in the red zone first. Then the ball skills, you know, how many times are they getting in the tough positions to get their hand on the football. And then when we get into the later piece, that'll be the tackling. But those three would be the markers that are constant, you know, separators.
Dan, what are some of the things in your experience that rookie quarterbacks have a tougher time adjusting to that maybe holds them back a little bit? And I guess how is Jayden doing in some of those areas? Yeah,
I would say the speed of everything is at the front of any rookie, you know, like it's just a jump that naturally happens. Some of the windows to throw to are tighter maybe than they have been accustomed to based on college or how fast things go. But by and large, those are the things that you just keep improving at because now it'll eventually slow down as well. And so when that process happens, that's when you see a lot of the guys really take off.
And how is Jayden progressing?
Outstanding.
Hey, Dan. Kicker, we haven't asked you about that. You obviously have one in camp, but
Right.
Is there still a plan to bring in others, and how much is that dependent on kind of what happens around the league, since obviously some teams have multiple kickers now?
Yeah, and I think you're right. There's, you know, maybe almost half the league have two into that space, but that and other positions are, you know, still part of the competition. With that specific one, you know, getting into the games, that'll be an important piece, right, to where, you know, the field goals, the extra points, and the kickoff. You know, so like seeing that, you guys will see some of the kickoff and kickoff return at practice today, but that'll be, you know, the third part of that.
And with Sam Cosmi, obviously it's a big year for him going the last year of his rookie deal. What have you seen from him on and off the field, and how do you view him as part of what you guys are building here?
Yeah, I'm excited for Sam. He's somebody, you know, coaching against, you saw, you know, the ability, the talent, all of that to go. But now being on the same side, getting to know who he is off the field and the standards he wants to set for himself. But I thought he's off to a great start with us.
You mentioned day 3, so tomorrow is one of those days where they get a chance to step away. What will you tell them, and is it possible to take a day at this point and rest?
Yes, you have to, because I guess our times together are really intense. They go all the way through, so those little resets, they can help. What went well in my 3 days that I did? What was 1 or 2 things that I really nailed, I've been working on? What's the one thing on this next 3-day block? By the time that's over, I want to have addressed that as well. So small margins to get better.
But are you asking them also to take time?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they have to really recover, not just physically, but mentally as well.
We've asked a lot about Jayden Daniels, but
Yes, we have.
What about Marcus Mariota?
That a babe.
What have you seen from Marcus out on the field and in the meeting rooms?
That away. All right. Well, the thing I've gotten to know Marcus, coached against him for a lot. You don't know when you coach against somebody what the man's like. And so he has got just a absolute presence about him. Teammates, they're drawn to him. This quarterback room really has the makings of something very special, very unique, and in different ways. Jayden's spoken about it. Marcus has spoken about it. Tavita has. Cliff has. So their connection together, you feel that. You hear that from them. But the fun part about coaching, or one of the fun parts, is finding the specific things that people do well. And so when you're in a training camp setting like now, you're installing plays not always specific to a player. And so if you were just to put a line in, these might be the 10 or 15 concepts that Marcus does best. This might be the 10 or 15 that Jayden does best. These are the same with Jeff. And so that's how you would do a game plan. That's different than a training camp install. And so learning what guys do as you're going through practices, man, that's a good play for him. That's what the fun of putting the big puzzle is together. But I didn't know the leader. You had heard so many things from him, about him, that he was good. I spent a lot of my off season in Hawaii, and I see people, tell Marcus I said hello. I said, I didn't know you know him. He said, I don't. But that's how they feel about him back home as well. And so I thought, what a great line for that. Just, hey, tell Marcus hello. And, I didn't know you know him. I went to a camp one time. He was there. And so the connection that he has away from the game with his teammates is really strong, too.
Hey, Dan. David Blau, he's throwing passes, he's catching passes, he's faking, rushing the passer. What have you seen from him, and how much does it help to have a guy who, he's 28, he's that age, he can still connect really well with the guys? What have you seen from him early on in his coaching career?
Yeah, and all of these are new for him as well as he's going through it. And so he's also really involved, with Sam in that development plan too. So knowing this is what we're going to do this month, and we laid out everything that looks like for Sam to go. But much like you do with a player, we're not just developing players. We're developing coaches too, and we're not going to miss one step with a guy like Dave or William Gay or Sharif or Ryan Kerrigan that are ready to take these moves together, because the good part about something like that, or one of the good parts, is they've seen the game through the lens of the helmet. And so for a guy at quarterback who's done that and seen that, he also knows what development looks like. He knows what starting looks like, what being a backup looks like, the good and the hard with that. And so he's got this unique perspective that I want him to be able to share with those guys, because it's not one size fits all. So he's off to a great start with us.
Jonathan Allen said the other day that he can see in the locker room that every guy feels like they have something to prove. So how does that make you feel as a coach when you have leaders like that are saying that, then you have a bunch of guys that aren't coming out there expecting anything handed to them?
Well, I would say his coach has something to prove as well. So I think that makes, not just in the locker room, but that's a lot in the building. Adam does, I do, a lot of us do. And so some of the best competitive moments in my life have been when you've had to prove it. And there's something really strong that comes from that. And I'm glad that he and his teammates feel that way, because I think that'll bring out the best in us.
Hey, Coach, you spoke about it a little bit when it comes to the relationship between Marcus and Jayden, but when you're out there on the field, anything specific you're seeing in terms of Marcus pulling Jayden aside, or kind of how do they play off of each other?
Not let you hear, comments, back and forth to a good ball. Just encouragement, I would say, is the thing that you see. And so sharing, what'd you see, how'd it go back? So just, I wouldn't say coaching one another, but like giving support to one another and what could happen, what's next. So seeing those two things take place is always good, because whether you're a veteran or a rookie, having somebody look there and watch and just, give you feedback peer to peer, that helps, And so when it comes from your teammate, that's a big deal.
And then Sunday will be the first day fans will be here on the premises to take in training camp. What sort of aspect does that add to a training camp setting? And
I'm
how
really
excited
looking
are the
forward
guys?
to it.
Yeah.
I really am. And practices are getting ready to perform. And so I'm looking forward to having the fans here for all the open practices, knowing that that's just another chance for the guys to perform. There's a ramp up in energy, a ramp up to that. And that's what performing is. So all of these practices are so valuable. So to add the extra element to energy and even more of that, that's a really cool thing. So I'm looking forward to having everybody here.
I know we joke and chuckle just a little bit ago about how a lot of these questions are about Jayden and his performance, his development. Is there a concerning part to you in the fact, our focus and a lot of the focus is on Jayden, and how do you maybe address that with Jayden or the team?
It's funny, we don't talk about him as much as we do here inside. So he's part of the team there. And so it happens out here, but it doesn't happen inside. And that's kind of the fun part about being on a team, where everybody's role and how do we all connect, and we're an extension of each other. And so he is fully embraced in that as well. Not only is he an exceptional talent, he's an excellent teammate. And in his short time here, he's already proven that. And so people recognize that. He's got the humility and the hard work of the rookie with a little bit of swag of an older guy. And so that's a pretty nice blend to have.
And you've been around a lot of different football teams, and every team has a different personality, right? I know it's still very early, but what kind of personality do you think this team is developing?
I would say you're right that you can't say what you're going to be. There's a big gap between that, who you say you want to be and who you actually are. And so the practices, the games, that will be it. But I would say this team is made up of a lot of hustlers, and they really are putting in work to go. And so I'm hopeful when you see the practice standards, when you see the effort, those are things that will carry us with some really high standards. I think this team will be a good tackling and physical team, but we haven't even been into that space yet. And so it's very hard to go to that space. That's what we want to aspire to be. But until we do that, it's just out there. And so we've got to live it together.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
From a physicality standpoint, obviously you guys want to be really aggressive, and
Yep.
specifically a player like Emmanuel Forbes, who had kind of a rough rookie season. How much can you really evaluate of his progress before he can strap on the pads and go out there and really kind of showcase everything he can do?
Well, I think you want to hit the markers along the way, right, Dave? So, for him, adding more size, and so to be, 15 or 18 pounds heavier than he was a year ago, that's a big step in the right direction. So it's a matter of hitting all the spots to go. And so tackling, that part of things, that's a big piece of it. But until you go through some of the games and that, you're not really able to demonstrate that, but you can show markers. My body feels different. I'm stronger. Those are things that lead up to that, but you still have to go do it.
Absolutely. And then Quan Martin, he said himself, most of his snaps, if not all of them, have been at the safety position.
Yes.
What about his game made you guys comfortable really kind of isolating him there?
Two-part, Samer still as well, to say who's going to be nickel, who's going to be safety, how would we play Quan to go. He's got excellent tackling ability, so at safety that's, at the top of the pile along with ball skills. So those were things that I saw from him. And through the evaluation from a year ago, we saw that. And so the two of those together are a nice, dangerous combination. I'm already, he's already standing up ready. Thank you.
Coach, as you see the young guys on defense, is there anybody, well, how do you feel and have they progressed throughout camp? And is there anybody that's been sticking out or been showing out so far?
As we're getting started, I'll know more on the line of scrimmage guys. You can ask me that same question about a week from now, and I'll give you a better evaluation, because so much of their time is on skill work to demonstrate that to go. So that part, I would say, after 2 sessions, it's harder to evaluate and give you an honest assessment. But what I can tell you is that I'm pleased with the progress of their communication and their speed to go. So those are things that I'm happy with, but probably too early to say who's sticking out just yet, especially at the line of scrimmage. Okay, now I'm ready, Nikki.
Sorry, just to clarify, is Amanda Forbes
Heavier? Yes, yep.
15 pounds? I guess just in general, how's it going for you so far, first 3 days of camp?
It's been fun. Go out there and just practice. Football is back, so it's a fun time.
What do you want to show during training camp?
I mean, just my competitive nature, going out there, having fun, and just learning the ins and outs of football. Obviously, it's training camp. Things are ramping up more, and show the grasp of the playbook and, you know, all the work that not just myself but the whole team put in over the summer.
Has your process stayed the same from minicamp in terms of getting here early and the things that you do?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That don't change. That's something that worked for me. Everybody has a different routine. Different things work for different people. Me getting here early works for me.
And your teammates have talked about you not coming in and being like a star quarterback, things like that. What's your mindset or process to be a part of the team in the early going?
I'll just say just going out there and just, you know, it's not just about me or about Terry or about anybody. If we want to be successful as a team, everybody has to be as one. And just showcasing that, you know, you got guys that have been proven in this league that could come out there and essentially say, you know what, I'm better than team, but they're not. So if the veteran leadership that we have isn't doing that, so why do I have the right? Why do I feel like I have the right to do it? So I mean, but that's just me. It's like, I'm never gonna put myself out there in the spotlight to think I'm bigger than anybody, better than anybody. Everybody's equal on the field, and you got to go out there and compete and show it each and every day, and that's what DQ preaches.
To that point, when you're out there working, it seems like there's a lot of coaches kind of there with you between, you know, Tavita and Blau and Cliff, and everybody's right there. How is the coaching coming from a number of different voices, all with experience at the position?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of for the whole room. Everybody's very active, not with just me, but with Marcus and with Jeff and with Sam. So I just how they coach, but it's to the point it's a lot of different voices, but they're all preaching the same thing. So it's not like, oh, you go to Cliff and he's saying one thing, or you go to Vita or Blau, they're saying two opposite things. Like, no, it's all one thing. They're all preaching the same message.
And then we heard a lot about the virtual reality stuff at LSU. Have you been able to continue that? Is that something you're hoping to keep going?
No, it's here. So I've been doing that still. It's been a great tool, not just for me, but, you know, the other quarterbacks, the guys that want to use it to get an edge and get the reps without having to go out there and physically do stuff.
When do you do that, in the mornings? Or
whenever I find some time. That's kind of where it is now. Just still trying to figure out. It's only day 3 to figure out my routine at camp and stuff like that.
Jayden, where do you feel you've made some good strides even from the spring?
Yeah, I'll just say just getting more comfortable with the system. Still have to learn, but the work that I put in over the summer, just trying to go out there and really not think too much, know what the read is, know what the plays are, so I could go out there and play faster and not really have to think a lot. That something that I focused on this past summer.
Are there some things that, even in getting here where, you know, it's jumped out to you that, like, I better get better here before I'm ready to do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a learning curve. Obviously, you know, we're reinstalling the base offense, but I know come down the road, you know, we're going to be asked to make a lot more checks. Obviously, Cliff and what he does as an offensive coordinator and how active he is trying to showcase our best talents. Get the guys the ball in space, but that still comes with playing the game of football, man. If we don't like this look against this run, you know, we got to be able to check out of that. So there's different things, and just learning from Marcus, you know, and his experience has been a good thing.
Hey, Jayden, odd question for you. When's the last time you were not the official starter at this point in whatever camp you've been in?
2 years ago at LSU.
What was? What do you like about? Do you like having to compete for that role as opposed to saying you know you're going into the year as a starter? Or do you prefer the comfort of like, okay, I kind of know that and I'll work on different things?
Nah, I mean, I like competing. You know, I'm a competitor, so regardless if I was announced a starter or not, you still got to compete. You know, you still can't be content of your job, you know, comfortable. I think it's just your job and still the deal. You got to go out there and compete. So for me, it's not a problem at all. You know, I like competing. That's up to DQ and AP for the decisions and stuff like that. But for me, I can control how hard I go out there and practice and how I compete.
You've had some time, Jayden. We had Heisman Trophy, draft, then you're here. Was there any moment, you know, as a kid who dreamed of being in this league and in this position, was there a moment that hit you and you went, this is it, we've done it?
I'll probably say probably when I signed my contract, just like officially being a part of the NFL. You know, that's something that I dreamt about. Signing my name on that line, you know, it meant a lot. You know, it's something that I just realized, you know, I achieved a childhood dream.
And with all the history in this franchise, do you embrace the role? Because you're going to be the face of this franchise. Whether you want to be or not, you're going to be that. Are you ready to embrace that? Do you like that?
Yeah, I'll just say, for me, it's just I'm ready to embrace, you know, the teammates, the fan base, you know, everything that just comes with, you know, playing quarterback, not even here, but anywhere, you know, for any quarterback, rookie, vet, anybody, you know, got to be able to embrace everything that comes with it, the good and the bad. So for me, it's how can I prepare myself mentally, physically, emotionally to go out there and compete every day on the practice field and then help out, you know, when it comes to game times, if my name is called.
Starting off in the NFL can be overwhelming for any rookie, especially at the quarterback position where you just have a ton of information coming your way. Are you feeling comfortable as you're kind of working through this early process of training camp with the amount that you're being asked to learn and know and obviously then put out on the field?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about it is we all came in, when the rookie class came in, everybody's learning a new system, knew everything. So it wasn't just me that had a learning curve or any other rookie class. It was the vets that still had to learn stuff too. We're all learning, so it's just going there and helping each other out daily. Bro, leave me alone.
Hey, Jayden, can you give me a guess of if you guys would have played Michigan last year, how that game would have turned out?
We are. Oh my gosh, leave me alone. Anyways, to answer your question, where are you going? Oh, no. Put the camera on it, please. Anyways, I think it would have been a great matchup. If you look at facts, were y'all like 1 or 2 in the country on defense? I think 2. Anyways, LSU was number 1 offense, so I like my chances against y'all. Appreciate you, Mike.
Hey, that's my brother right there. Jayden, in between series, I saw you were talking with Bobby Wagner. What were you guys talking about, and how valuable is it to have that veteran presence giving you the defense's perspective?
It's very valuable. Me and Bobby, we're from the same area, so we have that connection. The Inland Empire in Southern California, we're from there, so be able just to talk to him and get his perspective, and we're kind of talking about a check that I made and how he knew when I made the check, he already knew it was going to happen, just based off the defense they were in. So seeing what he's talking about, hearing his side of the story of like, man, I could tell by this alignment, this is what's happening and stuff like that. So it's awesome just to be able to and have that veteran presence in Bobby.
And then on the opposite side, David Blau is a guy who's been in the system. He's 28. He's still that age, like very close to, you know, right in that playing range. What has his perspective provided you with?
Yeah, I mean, he's been around. I think he told me he's been around 3 number 1 overall picks: Stafford, Baker, and Goff. Everybody's different, but just obviously, you know, what Stafford done, and you got Goff and Baker. You know, people have been playing this game for a minute now. Just to experience it, man. This is what defense they run. Like, look for stuff like this. You know, Blau is very smart, so be able to pick his brain just on different stuff like, oh, this DC might have a tendency to do this on 1st and 10 once you cross the 50 and stuff like that.
Hey, Jayden, this is new not only to you, but a lot of guys here, new offense coordinator, head coach. when you guys came back from that break, did you feel like you guys picked up right where you left off in the spring?
100%. And that's a good thing. You know, guys were in their book, you know, going over the playbook again, learning the different signals on, learning the different calls, or for a receiver, learning to split on a certain play. So it's been great. And then, you know, what Cliff and them do is a great job of you know, we have our walkthroughs, everybody's paying attention to detail, and, you know, they make it to a space where it's okay to fail. You know, that's what we're walking through for, so when we get on the field, everybody can play fast.
Jayden, you're clearly physically gifted, but there's also the mental aspect of the game. So what do you do to make sure your mental aspect is in line with your physical talent?
Are you talking about on or off the field?
Off the field, just making sure everything's kind of aligned.
Yeah, I mean, just my preparation on the field as far as, like, man, getting here early, making sure I'm doing the right stuff, studying the right stuff, setting time away, you know, because this is a job now, and, you know, you got to be prepared, and they expect everybody to come to practice prepared and knowing their stuff. But I say off the field when, you know, I'm just kicking it, you know, at home, or, you know, with guys like Mikey and stuff like that, man, playing the game, figure out ways to kind of recharge and, you know, for the next day and get back, because, you know, it's a long, taxing season. And if you don't take care of your mental, it could be a rough season for you. So that's little ways to take care of yourself personally.
And obviously, this is going to progress each and every week through training camp. So basically, you know, you're in shells right now, helmet, T-shirt, shoulder pads, shorts. But now you're going to progress into live 11-on-11, pads come out, joint practices, preseason games. How will those moments and those situations kind of help grow and develop you, especially as a rookie quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, it's day by day. You know, taking it day by day when the pads come on, you know, that doesn't affect me too much as far as the pads going on because they're not finna hit me, hopefully. But, you know, just going out there and just playing football, knowing where I'm going with the football, being decisive. When joint practice comes, learning the different coverages that teams are going to throw, because obviously joint practice is a time where you could go out there and see a lot of different coverages, see a lot of different type of players instead of going against your teammates each and every day. You know, you get to go against other people and see where you kind of stand, you know, as far as maybe I can make this throw, I can hold on this a little bit longer, or nah, this window might be a little bit tighter than, you know, other ones I've seen before and stuff like that. So it's a learning curve, and I'm excited to go out there and learn. And, you know, if I fail a little bit, you know, learn from it.
Jayden, you had the long draft process. You had the long off season. Now you're here in training camp. How happy are you to specifically be here with the Washington Commanders? I mean, you seem like you're really enjoying yourself, but what's it like, you know, to be here every day, be with the players on this team, play for Coach Quinn? Well, what's it been like now getting in here and being in this building?
Man, it's been great. I mean, ever since I got drafted and came out here for rookie minicamp, it's been happy because you finally done with the draft process. You know, you got a home. And it's time for football. So I'm very passionate in the game of football. I love it. So anytime I could be on the field, I'm always happy.
Jayden, sort of a schematics question here. I'd imagine all your coaches tell all the quarterbacks don't take unnecessary hits. How do you marry that concept with Cliff? Like, are there things he can do, things he can call protections? How do you go about expressing those sort of schematics to him to help you on the field? Or do you, I should say?
I mean, they do it with me. You know, just being smart. When to take a shot, when to not, when to, you know, something's not there, you know, if it's 1st and 10, throw the ball away. Don't take a hit, you know, don't have a negative play. Try to eliminate 1st and 2nd down sacks. And for us in the quarterback room, you know, our thing is always know where you're hot from and know where your hot answers are. And that's something I'm still learning. Obviously, it's a process to learn that. But, you know, if we go 5 wide, we're going to empty, man. Know who can make you hot and know where your hot answer is, because obviously you don't want to look one way and get ear hold and blindside another, you know, from a free runner. You know, that's no fun. So they do a great job of putting us in position to go out there and succeed, giving the answers to the test. And, you know, we just got to go out and do it.
Yeah,
How you doing, Jeremy?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing all right, yeah. So first week of camp in the books. How you feeling so far?
Feel really good. Feel really good. That's all I got to say.
So you mentioned how you were really, really excited about working with Joe Wood Jr. in this defense. I mean, you know, what are some things that Joe Wood does as far as the scheme goes that really makes you like excited about the system?
I think really just the identity that we want to create here, just being a run-ahead type defense.
And some of the younger guys like Emmanuel Forbes, I mean, what are some of your thoughts on after practicing with him for a little bit?
I think he's very mentally strong, and he's shown a lot of maturity.
Hey, in minicamp and OTAs, Dan Quinn talked about your versatility being a real weapon for this team. How do you think you can help in kind of non-traditional ways out of the defensive backfield?
Just being able to play in different spots, being able to play a little deeper, playing on the second level, and then coming down playing close to the line of scrimmage as well.
And what have you seen? I mean, it's a rookie quarterback on the other side, but when you get reps against Jayden, what are you seeing out there?
He's a competitor. I think that's the first thing you want to see in a quarterback, a young quarterback. He's a competitor.
What's been your impression of, I guess, how Dan Quinn's been running this camp and kind of adding in recovery periods and all that kind of stuff?
That's been great. It just shows like how important it is to take care of our bodies. We're out here going really hard, so it's important for us to recover really hard as well.
Coach talked about, you guys are getting a day off. Are you able to take an actual day off at this point, and what will you do?
Yeah, we are. But, a day off just looks like recovery for the most part. Just being able to come back and take care of our bodies, whatever that looks like for each individual player. Take some time away mentally and physically.
Jeremy, what type of perspective did you gain last year having to miss some time, and how do you think that's going to help you moving forward?
What type of perspective did I gain? Anytime that you're doing something that you love and you're not able to be it on the football field, or whatever it is that you may be doing, you just find a great appreciation for it. And, finding ways to better yourself, as far as me finding a better way to take care of my body and, prevent certain things from happening.